Hi guys, welcome to Whisky Web Wednesday. It's Leon here. It's the 16th of February 2022, and for this video we're going to look at the Scottish Distillery League. Now, I was watching the Super Bowl final there on Sunday, and I was thinking it's essentially a way for the world to celebrate American culture. The Super Bowl is just everyone around the world for one day a year celebrating chicken wings, Budweiser beer, tailgate parties, lots of yahooing. It's a good celebration for America, and it's something people watch from all around the world. Indeed, I think over 1 billion chicken wings are consumed on Super Bowl Sunday. That's quite a lot of chickens. And I was thinking, okay, what about Scotland? So what's Scotland's equivalent of the Super Bowl? And I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe Scotland, England in the rugby, or maybe some Highland Games type event. But really, it's the Old Firm derby. It's Rangers versus Celtic. This is the largest viewed sporting event in Scotland, probably on a consistent basis throughout the world. So everyone from around the world watches Rangers versus Celtic, and that's Scotland's offering. So I was thinking, okay, why don't we have like a distillery league? So let's take all the distilleries that make single malt whisky in Scotland and put them into a league format, a bit like the professional football leagues of Scotland. And it was quite an interesting exercise actually. There's 128 distilleries that make single malt whisky, ranging from the huge to the tiny. We're talking 21 million litres a year of pure alcohol for the largest, and maybe 25,000 for the smallest. So a huge spectrum of distilleries. They come from 6 regions. You've got Speyside being the largest, Highlands, Islands, Islay, Lowlands and Campbellton, so 6 regions. And I was thinking, okay, for this first attempt at the league, let's just order them all by the volume of litres they produce, and then we'll split them up into different leagues in the same structure as Scottish football. So it'll be like the Premier League is the top 12 teams in Scotland, and then it's the Championship, which is the next 10, and then it's League 1, which is the next 10, and League 2, which is the next 10. So that's 42 teams in the professional top leagues of Scotland. And then after that it splits into the Highland League and the Lowland League. And then they have feeder leagues as well. So there's this whole pyramid structure to Scottish football, and you get relegation and promotion between the different leagues. And I actually had to go down 6 tiers of Scottish football to find enough football teams to match up to the distilleries of Scotland. So let's take a look at the Scottish Distillery Premier League, or the Premiership. And this, remember, is based on volume of litres of absolute alcohol. So you can see in the middle, you got the volume there, 21 million litres for Glenlivet, and that goes all the way down to 6 million litres for Glenmurray. So this is the top 12 distilleries in single malt whisky production by volume. And you can see here that on the right I've matched up the Scottish Premier League table from the 14th of February 2022, so Valentine's Day. So there may be changes as the games progress through the season, but Glenlivet is Celtic. So if you're a Celtic fan, Glenlivet is your distillery in the Scottish Distillery League. And for Rangers, Glenfiddich. These two are so close, they're always competing right next to each other, both in football and in whisky. Both are making 21 million litres a year, so very hard to separate these two, and they're a significant step up above the rest, a bit like the football. Number 3, we've got Macallan with 15 million litres. They get Hearts for the time being. Islay Bay down in the southwest gets Dundee United. Glenord, 11.5 million litres, Motherwell. Rose Isle, up in the Highlands there, above Elgin, 10.8 million litres, St Mirren. Dominic, 10.5, Hibs, that's my team from Edinburgh, Hibernian. Tierninich, 10.2 million litres. Livingston. I've got a few Aberdeen pals as football fans, and they get Caledonian, that's a good one. 6.4 million litres for Caledonian. Glenmorangie, 6.2 million litres for Ross County, or Ross County. That one actually works pretty well because Glenmorangie is up there in Tain, so it's not too far away from Ross County. And then you've got Glen Grant, 6.1 million litres, and they get Dundee. And finally Glenmurray with St Johnstone. Apparently St Johnstone is the only team in the whole of British football that has a J as one of the first words. Well, first word. So that's an interesting pub quiz fact for you. So there you have the Scottish Distillery Premier League. This is League number 1. I would classify this as a glorious waste of time, but an enjoyable one. Something you enjoy doing. You go through spreadsheets and stats, and I actually got a lot of this data from the Whisky Invest Direct website, which is very useful. It's got like all the distilleries, and I've printed out all the different sheets, so I've mapped it all out, and there's some great names in Scottish football, some really good ones that I think people should know. And Bunnahabhain, they're down in 51st place. They're in the Lowland Distillery League. They get Spartans. Auchentoshan, this is a good one. They're in the Lowlands Distillery League as well. They get Civil Service Strollers. What a fantastic name for a football club that is. Bladnoch, down in the Lowlands. They get Gala Ferrydean Rovers. Obviously a huge following for that football club. And Ardbeg, obviously one of the most famous distilleries from Islay, they get Dalbeattie Star. Thing is, there's going to be movement in this table. Ardbeg have got it down as 1.3 million litres, but I'm pretty sure they've just doubled up production with new stills, so there's going to be a bit of promotion and relegation here. And one of the things I was going to do as well is actually start incorporating different factors into league, so it's not just going to be based on production. There's going to be other things like visitor experience, or how well they present their expressions of whisky, for example. So there'll be different factors added over time, and I would love to hear your thoughts as to what factors you think are the most important for the Distillery League. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, here's a good one. Daft Mill in 125th place in the Scottish Distillery League structure with 65,000 litres of pure alcohol. They're in the West of Scotland Distillery League, and they get Glencairn. So there's actually a football team in Scotland with Glencairn in the name, which is perfect for whisky. So that's fantastic. So that's, yeah, the 128 teams there. If you have any favourite distilleries or any favourite football team, I can then go and match them up. So put that in the comments, and then I'll tell you what your distillery or football team is. So that'll be a good bit of fun. And I also did a little pivot table and looked at, okay, how much is the Premier League in terms of Scottish whisky production? And the answer is about 35%. So just in that top 12 teams in the Premiership, that's 35% of all the single malt production in Scotland. Also in terms of regions, I thought this was interesting as well. Speyside is 58% of all whisky production. Highlands is 26%. Lowlands is 6.66%, quite an auspicious number there. And then it kind of works down to Campbelltown with only 2.25 million litres of alcohol for that whole region, which is only 0.57% of all whisky produced in the single malt industry, and the total is almost 400 million litres. So that's a lot of whisky being made every single year. So I hope you enjoyed that little video. I know it's a bit quirky and a bit different, but I thought it'd be fun to try something different. So let me know your thoughts on the Scottish Distillery League, and yeah, we'll have a bit of fun with promotion and relegation every season, and hopefully that might encourage distilleries to start doing more things to get them up the tables. So thank you very much. Please subscribe, like the video, tell your friends, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.